But we'll move on to long ball number 2 of the day. News broke this week that the planned expansion team, USL Pro, they don't have a name just yet. That was going to be the big announcement coming out this summer, but it is the fact that they've had to delay the start of Buffalo Pro until 2027. The previous site that they picked, we had the president, Peter Marlette, on this very program talking about the stadium and the venue, and in comments and some issues arose with the stadium. There was a chemical company there that they've had disputes with, and there's some environmental issues, and we did some follow-up with that in the spring, and Marlette said that, it was all good and safe, but kind of a reversal of course on this Buffalo project, which is a little disappointing because Buffalo, they have huge numbers for viewing Premier League, and there seems to be kind of a thing growing there. There seems to be a lot of anticipation for there to be a team there. Per the local news there, WIVB in Buffalo, the franchise president, Peter Marlette, said the decision for a new stadium site is imminent. Earlier this month, it was announced the previous selected stadium site at Lee Street and Elk Street will not happen due to the dispute with PVS Chemicals, chemical plant next door. And that's probably a good thing, even though they thought that the site was legit when we followed up on it. If there's like actual chemical and environmental concerns, it's probably good to reconsider, eh?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's bad news. It's a blow, to be sure. When you have to push back a whole year, it's obviously not good news. But I will say kudos to the Buffalo group for making the right decision, right? You don't want to. It's much better for this to come out now and for them to have to delay than them building the stadium. And then once play begins, then it comes out through some investigative reporting like, ooh, this maybe shouldn't have happened. And now we've got a real issue on our hands. What do we do? The stadium's already here, sort of thing. So I think getting out in front of it, acknowledging, hey, this isn't going to work out after all. They've been forthright and upfront in their dealings here. And from that article, it seems like there are plenty of other options. Marlette was clear that he wants to he wants to keep the team within the city limits of Buffalo, which I think is important as well. When you talk about a team or a city that is huge when it comes to sports consumption,
That's Buffalo what on Bills, screen. That was what was planned on this site. Excuse me.
Sorry, what was that?
I said sorry for interrupting, but I just put on screen the plans that will not be.
Well, and we'll see, right? Like they can maybe take this very same mock-up and move it somewhere else. Hopefully, again, within the city limits of Buffalo, because I think it is a great sports town. They've proven that with the support that they show the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres. And you mentioned the consumption of Premier League. It is an emerging market. And if they can get something figured out, I think it would suit them very well to have a club that they can support. That town is just starved for more and more sports. And I think, if it's one of those cases, if you build it, they will come. I'm very confident that Buffalo, however they figure this out, will be a well-supported outfit. And now it's just a matter of finding that right place and getting things situated. Definitely unfortunate that they have to move things back a year. But again, I think it's while it's not the best case scenario, it is certainly better than kind of things getting derailed once the stadium was put together and finished. And then, like I said, if it came out that, hey, we got issues, that's not something you want to have to deal with. So getting out in front of it, kind of pushing this to the side and moving on. Best of luck to Buffalo.
Yeah, the news article pushes on to say that the organization, Buffalo Soccer, is committed to finding the right location for a 10,000-seat modular stadium that could eventually expand to 15,000 seats, while Marlette indicated the Cobblestone District in downtown Buffalo remains under consideration. He remains there are multiple options, but he would like to stay in Buffalo city limits. It had one issue that we couldn't get around, and now we have 12 more months, and the timeline is no longer the major deciding factor in the site we pick. We have a little bit more breathing room, and we're going to use it to make the right choice. So that seems solid and measured if they're willing to sacrifice that year for the right location. And it sounds like these modular spots must be pretty quick to pop up if they can do it in under a year.
Well, that's what I was thinking too when, we're sitting here in July of 25, if I'm not mistaken, and for them to think like, oh, we can just pop this stadium up and boom, we're ready to play in 26, that kind of caught me off guard, but you just read it right there. Like now they have a full 12 more months. They can make the right decision and find something that is fully sustainable and with a clear conscience kind of proceed onwards and upwards. Again, I'm not at all familiar with, the layout of the city of Buffalo and where some of these sites are, whether they might be better fits. I can't really speak to that, but from everything that Marlette is saying, they have no shortage of options with, people from all sorts of different avenues reaching out, saying, hey, what about this? What if we put it here? And now it's just time to kind of get to work and finding that right fit. And if they can pop up a stadium in 6 months, I don't see why this wouldn't actually kind of, in a way, maybe be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, maybe any sort of like division that was in the public that was already gonna consume this or be a regular a season ticket holder. Hey, ownership is seriously considering our health and the importance of being safe. Even at the delay, I'm sure the business model has to be reshifted with that. All the best with Buffalo moving forward, and that kind of reminds me we've been very positive. We had a segment last week about all the teams that are joining USL 1 next year, and perhaps we should do an update on some teams in some cities that have had some delays. Buffalo is one, and then I think Milwaukee might be another we should check in on next week. We're definitely going to be checking in on some NISA stuff, as we will in this episode, as well as developments in Fort Wayne, the emergence of the amateur jump to the pro ranks is becoming a more well-beaten path.